Greetings once again, Sonic Heroes. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with IDW Sonic the Hedgehog, where in the previous issue, Knuckles and the Chaotix teamed up to get some stolen relics back that the Babylon rogues had taken, and while they were successful in doing so, and the Chaotix were able to make their dinner date with Vanilla and Cream, which was initially crashed by Rough and Tumble, the question remained that Knuckles kind of dismissed because he got his relics back. Who hired the Babylon rogues? As it turns out, it was none other than Clutch, who was actually using the commotion to keep any prominent figures away from what he was up to. And that was creating an alliance, or a bit of a business deal, with Jewel of the Restoration. So much like what Mimic is doing, Clutch is using the guise of a friend in order to undermine the Restoration's operation. But what is Clutch's plan in all of this? How will it come to bite our heroes in the butt? And why does it seem the Restoration is about to gain some new members? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, here comes our issue with Surge and Kit looking to join the Restoration, which still caught me off guard. It's obvious they're up to something. But what? Gotta love Whisper and Duo watching from the background too. Alright, story by Ian Flynn, pencils by Thomas Roethlisberger, or Roethlisberger. Gotta try to say it right. Inks by Matt Frost, colors by Leonardo Ito, letters by Sean Lee, editor David Marriott, production Johanna Natali. Oh, there's even a variant cover that is Surge's render from the game she's recently in. That's pretty cool. Oh man, exclusive cover art by Sega. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it actually kind of coincides with this issue. Was that synergy? Did they deliberately try to bring the character back for around the time of this release? I wonder. Alright, time for the roll call. We have Sonic the Hedgehog, the Blue Blur, fastest thing alive. Amy Rose, the hammer-swinging heroine and the Restoration ally. Surge the Tenric, the mean green and roguish speedster. Kit Tsunami, Kit the Fennec, the sorrowful sidekick and high-flying hydromancer. Silver the Hedgehog, the young psychic hero and friend from the future. Blaze the Cat, the fire-powered princess and friend from another dimension. Another dimension. Belle the Tinkerer, the enthusiastic newcomer and clumsy marionette. God, it's the first page. We pick up in Restoration HQ, where Sonic has just got himself a chili dog, turns to the side, and is immediately like, Amy, Surge! She's just chilling there like, sup? Of all the ways to open an issue. Oh man, I was not expecting that. Oh, that's good. Sonic stands befuddled saying, and Kit? I have so many questions. Surge points to the table saying, ain't it obvious? I'm chilling with your bestie. She was telling me this crazy story about a forest fire. Yeah, crazy story. Man, Kid has a look like he's ready to square up at any moment. Sonic leans over to Amy, pointing to Surge and Kid saying, you do know who this is, right? Amy waves it off saying, I do, and I know it sounds crazy, because it is, but Amy explains, but she came in peace. She made a point of finding me to announce she and Kit wanted to turn their lives around. And we see Surge and Kit entering the Restoration. Surge with her hands up, but still with this devilish grin, people hiding. Even Amy looked like either Amy was hiding behind something or she had her hammer at the ready. Surge recalls Sonic's words from before, where he said, so I'm willing to chalk this up to a rocky start, and let us have a do-over, if you will. Surge saying, just like that. Sonic responding, just like that. And present day Surge says, after all, you said I could. You made it sound so simple. God, it's oozing with sarcasm. I feel like Ian, having heard a lot of the criticism for his depiction of Sonic being willing to forgive characters, which, again, like, if Sega didn't want him to do it, they tell him don't do that. I'm just saying. But at the same time, hey, if you want to believe that Sonic shouldn't be the forgiving type or isn't the forgiving type to such a degree, and you believe that Sega can be wrong, hey, there you go. It's not like Sega's not wrong on many occasions. Surge then recalls their last encounter, with Sonic trying to reach his hand out to Surge, saying, "Freedom is right there, just waiting for you. Just take it." And Surge saying, "I can't." So dramatic. In present day, Surge just jabs Kit, laughing, saying, "Our last fight was a bit of a close call. It got me to reprioritize. So here we are, ready to start over. Right, Drippy?" And Kit just responds coldly, "Yes," still glaring. Sonic crosses his arms, unconvinced, saying, "Yeah? Just like that." Like, Sonic ain't no fool. But, I mean, he doesn't know them that well. He knows that there's turmoil in them. So it's obvious that he wants to believe that maybe they're turning over a new leaf. But it's just like, yeah, it can't be that easy. I mean, we didn't come together in a world-ending event. We then cut back to Starline's base, Sigma, earlier, where I guess they were still hanging out. I thought they left that base. You see Surge and Kit chilling on their bunk beds, Surge having grabbed a ration that seems to already be torn open. Looking it over, she says, "This is all there's left to eat around here? Really?" Surge pensively says, I'm sorry, it's all I could find. The base has no power, so anything perishable is rotting, and there's not much to forage beyond the walls." Surge chucks the ration off the bunk bed, saying, "I ain't living off berries and roots. We need to get out of here." Kit looks up at her, saying, "Yes, but where? Dr. Eggman is aware of us, so his base will be on high alert. We don't belong anywhere in polite society. This place is falling apart around us." Surge barks at him, saying, "I know all that. You're supposed to be the smart one. Figure it out." Kit looks away, saying, I'm trying." Suddenly, there's a rumbling outside that causes Surge to fall off her bunk bed. Surge races off at lightning speed, with Kit falling behind with his water tendrils, questioning, "Has Eggman come back to look for us?" Kit says, "Has Eggman come back to look for us?" Yeah. And Surge says, "I'm gonna tear off his mustache and feed it to him." Jeez. We see these machines just pretty much bulldozing the entire area. Surge calls out to Kit, "Tear him down." And Kit takes off with his tendrils, saying, "Right." The two individually tear down the massive bot, Kit using his tendrils to rip it one in half, while Surge uses her lightning speed to just rush through one. Surge then comes up on some badniks, saying, "Time to toast the small fry." Oh, in comes Rough and Tumble, pushing away the badniks, with Ruff saying, "Messing with our tech?" And Tumble saying, "Then get ready to scuffle. These bots are protected by..." And Surge rushes in and electro spin dashes them down to the ground. And, ooh, jeez, I love how Surge stands atop them while Kit looms overhead in a dark silhouette. Surge saying, "What do you say, boys? Should I make your tails match?" Jeez. As she grabs onto Ruff's tail, Ruff cries out, "No mercy!" Surge says with a smile, "No mercy for Eggman, goon." Tumble yells out, "We don't work for Eggman no more, idiot!" Surge squints at him, saying, "Yeah? Then what's with all the egg tech?" Oh, man. Enter Clutch, coming in, pushing away the badniks like a mob boss, saying, "It and the fools you've trounced belong to me." Surge, not breaking eye contact with Clutch, motions to Kit, telling him, "Hold the mooks." Kit says, "Yes, ma'am," as he holds Rough and Tumble in his watery tendrils upside down. Clutch takes off his hat and does a bit of a bow, saying, "My apologies for the intrusion. I had assumed the late Dr. Starline's base was no longer occupied." Surge crosses her arms with a sneer, saying, "You knew that sack of trash?" Clutch gives a bit of a wicked grin, saying, "I did indeed. I deal in all manner of scrap and robot refuse. Dr. Starline was a frequent client of mine for all sorts of resources. Ah, yeah. Where Starline got a lot of what he ended up putting into Surge and Kit. Surge panics a bit, saying, "Wait a minute, you mean?" Clutch says, "I know who you are, Miss Surge. I know what you are. I know a great many things." He plops his hat back on with a smile, saying, "Such as you don't mind getting your hands dirty, and that you have no love for Sonic the Hedgehog or his friends. Perhaps we can do business, I love to think that he's like got this Cajun voice, or shoot. Maybe he's voiced by Keith David or something. Perhaps we can do some business, In my world now, not your world. And I got friends on the other side. Ooh, I could see him being voiced by Keith David. Ooh, that would be good. I just kind of convinced myself of that. But Keith David has a great voice. That'd be so good. Alright, back to reality. Surge holds out her hand, obviously wary, saying, maybe. Who are you? Clutch gives a tip of the hat, saying, "How rude of me. I'm Clutch the Possum, and publicly I run Clean Sweep Inc. My company clears out areas once invaded by Dr. Eggman and sells the material back to him, or whomever needs questionable technology. People think it's a kindly public service. I see no need to correct them." Surge, obviously taking in that he is just about as mean and green as she is to a certain extent, gives a bit of a cheeky smile, saying, "Heh, alright, where do I come in?" Clutch smiles at her, saying, "Sonic's friends do the same work as my company, but legitimately, that's bad for business. I'm in the process of staging a hostile takeover, if you will. Help me further my plans to steal the restoration, and in return, I'll tell you everything I know about you and your young companion." He holds out his hand, and Surge contemplates it for a moment, but she embraces the handshake, smiling and saying, "You got a deal, old man." Though Kit questions her, saying, but how will we even get near their headquarters? We're their enemy." Surge tells him, "Oh, I know just how to get in the front door." Yeah, walk through it apparently. Pick up to present day with Sonic asking the question, "Yeah? Just like that?" And Surge smiles at him, saying, "Yeah, just like that." God, I love the callback to their other conversation, their first conversation. But Sonic, loving the idea of a potential cover round, just gives a smile and a thumbs up and a wink, saying, "Cool, glad you came around." Buddy. Surge gives Kid a cheeky look while Kid is just looking away, still miffed. Sonic then grabs Amy's chair to help her up as he says, "Let me and Amy give you a grand tour of the place." And Amy nervously whispers to keep an eye on them. Sonic's whispering back, "Oh, you betcha." And as Sonic nervously helps Kid out of his chair, who still glares at him, Amy directs Surge, saying, "So, you've already seen them all. Lots of dining and shopping options for the staff and anyone passing through, which is all supplied by this depot." As they enter into the storage area, where Sonic rushes up a forklift already in motion with the workers visibly looking annoyed at him. I love to think that they're just like, "Oh god, Sonic's here. What's about to happen now?" Surge looks around saying, "You guys need all this?" Amy says, "Nope, this is also where they organize supplies for anyone in the world." Enter Silver and Blaze, with Silver using his telekinesis to lift up a shipping crate. I love the worker looking up at it like, "What the heck?" Probably just hoping, "Oh, I hope he doesn't drop that on me." Amy waves, saying, "Oh, hey Blaze, hey Silver, what are you up to?" I love that even Surge is like, "The hell?" Blaze gives a smile, saying, "While touring the world, I learned Missouri was suffering from poor crops this season." Silver says Jewel helped put together an aid shipment, and we're going to bring it over there. Blaze then questioned, "Who is your new friend?" I'm glad that Silver, despite everything that happened with Duo, is not being ostracized from the restoration at this point. Sonic leans on a visibly miffed Surge, who looks like she's just 1 second away from decking his face in, which I love to believe that maybe Sonic is doing this on purpose, as he says, "This is Surge. She tried to destroy me a couple of times." I mean, Sonic doesn't remember the timeline where Silver tried to kill him. Blaze pinches the bridge of her nose in exasperation, saying, "Honestly, Sonic, you need to stop making friends like that." Surge is bewildered, saying, "Wait, he seriously makes a habit of this?" Blaze recalls the events of Sonic Rush where they initially encountered each other and fought. Yeah, one of the major components of that game was when Sonic and Blaze would face off against each other, with Blaze looking a little bit sheepish, saying, "When we first met, I was hostile. We fought rather ferociously back then." Sonic, also a little sheepish, says, "Ha, I remember that. Me and Silver have had our moments of friction too. And the sheepishness all around. Where's Lanolin when you need her?" As Silver says, "At least you were always super nice about it afterwards." Yeah, definitely probably a good thing they don't remember the events of 06. Oh, and Amy then brings up Knuckles, saying, "I've got stories about him throwing down with Knuckles and Shadow for days." And as Sonic remembers his encounters with Shadow, even as recently, the event that they're depicting is from when the whole Mr. Tinkerer situation. Surge asks, "Have any of your friends not tried to waste you?" With Sonic saying, "Look, once you get to know me, I'm very likable." I feel like this is all to kind of be like, look, Sonic's willingness to kind of let all that go comes from a genuine place. Like, a lot of his now friends have tried to kill him at some point, or at least beat his face in. Like, Tails is the only exception. And I'm not including Amy with Tails because, I mean, go play Sonic Heroes. If not for that game, there wouldn't be that feeling of just like, no, Amy's tried to beat his face in too. God, I love this panel of Surge just pushing Sonic's face away as she asks Silver and Blaze, "So, since I fought him, does that mean I'm an honorary restoration mook like you two?" Blaze waves this off, saying, "We are not affiliated with the movement." And Silver, still holding up that shipping container, gives a thumbs up, saying, "We just like to help out." Kind of hammering in that this isn't the Freedom Fighters. We're not a band of one big old team unless we need to be. Amy chimes in, saying, "The restoration is a volunteer movement. Everyone is free to come and go as they please. If this place doesn't suit you, you're welcome to leave at any time." Surge takes Amy off guard, saying, "Trying to get rid of me already?" But Amy takes this seriously, saying, "I'm making it clear it's your choice. No one will force you to do anything you don't want to here." Okay. And Surge really seems to think about that for a moment, saying, "Really mean that?" And as Amy motions Surge and Kit to continue onward, she waves at Blaze and Silver, saying, "Let's continue our tour. Safe travels, you two." And while Blaze waves at Amy, Silver and Sonic play around with a worker being nearby, just freaking out momentarily as Silver brings the shipping container over Sonic, saying, "Hey Sonic, think fast." And Sonic winking at Hedgehog. "Let's be honest, Sonic, if Silver was really trying, your speed would be no use." We then pick up in the area of the character who should be named Grease the Orangutan, but isn't named because then you'd have to have it go through Sega, and IDW tries not to nail that down unless it's with specific characters. Like, when I tell you that all the named characters in the comic that you see are approved by Sega, have gone through Sega, like, can be used by Sega in any time, in any capacity, I mean that. By not nailing down the orangutan character, they can have them come in and out without any kind of worries or care. Like, they play things really safe when it comes to this comic, for better or for worse in some cases. But Amy continues the tour as Sonic jumps on the friggin' car that Grease is working on right then. I swear Sonic is a menace. As Amy shows it off, saying, "Here in the machine shop, they maintain the vehicles that deliver everything in the supply depot, along with search and rescue craft." Surge tells him, "I've had my fill of gadgets lately. Besides, tech is more Kit's thing. You hear that, Drippy? He can hang out here and show Tails how it's done." She laughs. Grease comes up behind Kit, who's immediately on guard. And while the orangutan goes to shake Kit's hand, he says, "Another young aspiring gearhead. You're always welcome here, kiddo." But Kit just continues to glare even more, narrowing his eyes. And Grease shirks away, saying, "See you around?" Oh boy. it's gonna be unfortunate when they burn this place to the ground. We then pick up with Belle, who's working on Motobud, and specifically the veritable Wispon. Taking up a whisper on what she said previously. Oh right, she encountered these two. I forgot about that. As Sonic comes running in saying, "Sup, Belle?" Belle says, "Hello, Sonic. Hello, Amy. Hello." And she freaks out, knocking back into her workbench as she sees Surge saying, Sawdust, what's she doing here? Kit whispers to Surge, "We're going to get a lot of that here." And Surge says, "Good." If the plan is mostly to give a bit of a distraction, because everybody will have their eyes on them, anything else going on in the background becomes, a bit of a blind spot to everyone. Amy helps Belle up, saying, "Surge and Kid are here to start over." Belle questions, "Are you sure? Dr. Starline made them." Sonic then says, "Yeah, and Eggman made General, Omega." And as Belle sits down, she says, "And me. Yeah, I guess you set a precedent." Again, it really does feel like Ian's trying to be like, look, Sonic's trusting nature really does come from years of making friends out of enemies. Like, the list of friends he has that were once enemies is longer than the list of friends he's made otherwise. Specifically, non-one-off friends. Surge then points to the Wispon saying, "Hey, I thought I smashed that gizmo." Belle grabs it, being protective, saying, "You did. I rebuilt it and have been fine-tuning it ever since. I was just about to deliver it to Whisper, in fact." Sonic winks at her, saying, "Perfect timing. We can go with you and make introductions." Ooh. Even Amy's not sure, saying, "Hold on, maybe we should ease into that one. Given the circumstances." Surge definitely trying to annoy him in the same way he did to her, leans on Sonic, saying, "Nah, why question Sonic's judgment? I'm sure it'll go fine." Ooh, she's eating this up like so much birthday cake. See, God, these looks. We see the table of the Diamond Cutters with a nervous duo looking over at Lanolin, Tangle, and a very particularly peeved Whisper all sitting there. This feels like high school. Just the table with the kids who particularly don't like you. And the one kid who's there is just like, "I don't know you enough to really know what's going on here." Oh, the expressions in this issue are gold. I love that Kit is glaring back just as hard. Belle is looking away like, "Please, I don't want to be a part of this." And Amy is even eyeing Sonic like, "Well, you wanted to do this." And then Surge just smiling and jabbing at Sonic, saying, "Go on, Mr. Big Shot, say something." Oh, this is the best issue imaginable. And a nervous Sonic tells her, "You're not helping." But he breaks the ice, saying, "Look, I know there's some bad blood here, and for good reason. But if we can give them a chance, they'd be awesome in the Diamond Cutters." Whoa, buddy. That's a little bit too much too fast. Amy grabs Sonic, saying, "Yes, but only if they want to join." Sonic questions, "Why wouldn't they want to kick butt?" Surge chimes in, being very serious for a moment, saying, "Yo, they are in the room. They have thoughts and opinions of their own." And both Amy and Sonic nervously say, "Sorry." One of the brief moments where it's just like, okay, that's a legit nerve we touched on. Sorry about that. I don't know. Joining the Diamond Cutters, that's a bit much. Man, I love that it is now canon that Lanolin looks tired. Just constantly. And it's getting to a point where it's a lot more obvious than it was before. Like, I swear, just some of the drawings that Adam Bryce Thomas, who initially created Lanolin, does for her is just like, is there something we need to know about the sheep? Duo nudges Lanolin saying, I think it's a great idea. The team gave me a chance and I'm nobody. Having someone on par with Sonic and Tails would be a huge help. Yeah, you would say that. Lanolin says, I have my concerns, but if they're coming on the recommendation of former Commander Rose, I won't object. Oh god. Amy now being just as tired says, Lanolin, we've been through this. Tangle, naturally, tries to talk Whisper down saying, I believe in Sonic and his ideals. I'm willing to give them a chance. And Whisper just deadass just looks away saying, no. Sonic pleads saying, come on, Whisper. Dude, like, look, out of everyone here, it's just like, Whisper's got the most reason to be like, yeah, nah. As she says, no, you can choose to trust her. I don't. I won't. And Surge busts out laughing, saying, finally. She then grabs the Wispon from a confused Belle, startling her, and she hands it directly to Whisper, saying, you're the first to show any sense around here. I can tell you want to take me out here and now. I like you. Maybe I will join your little club. You can aim that wisp finger at the back of my head all day if you want. I don't blame you. I encourage you. Whisper takes her weapon, saying, fine, I will be watching. Kit then perks up, saying, if Surge joins, I'm joining too. Surge pets Kit on the head, saying, yeah, we're a package deal. God, she sounds like a grifter. Later we then cut back over to the mall. Oh my god, this is the greatest issue. To have gone through everything we've gone through and to have gotten here, man. We pick up with Surge, Kit, Sonic, and Amy chilling out in the mall, kind of people watching. Looks like the sun's about to set. As Surge says, I gotta admit, this is a pretty impressive setup. As she looks around, she then narrows her eyes at Sonic, saying, it'd be a real shame if someone burned it to the ground. Jeez, way to telegraph that. And Sonic, without missing a beat, says, yeah, a bigger shame is what'll happen to the idiot who tries that. And then he just gives her the most nonchalant but 1,000-word paragraph look I have ever seen from Sonic. Like, literally, fuck around and find out. It's just like, no, he's not oblivious. It's like, no. You're probably up to something. He's hoping he can turn that around. That's what this feels like. It's just like, look, please, I want you to be good. I really do. But at the same time, I will beat your ass. I will beat you down as many times as I have to. It's literally his mentality with Eggman. I'll beat you down as many times as I need to if you threaten my friends, but if you feel like coming around, by all means, let's have a chili dog. Make amends. Be friendly and all that. But if you threaten my loved ones, I'll beat that ass. It's like, we're clarifying that here and now. It's just like, Sonic will be friends with anyone, but he will also beat the stuffing out of you. We don't even fully get Surge's expression. I guess she was expecting a little bit more of a rise from him, but he just gave it as good as he got. And Surge says, yeah, well, it's not like you guys are here all the time. Amy leans back saying, no, but the Diamond Cutters are here, and security has been tightened since the Deadly Six invaded. They'll be okay. Continuity! Duo then pops in, waving to everyone, saying, sorry to interrupt. Sonic points to him, saying, no worries, you're Duo, right? Duo says, got it in one, haha. He then motions to Surge and Kit, saying, I just got set up here myself, so Lanolin sent me here to help Surge and Kit settle into a place of their own. Surge and Kit walk off, with Surge saying, why not? Tour's over anyway. She beams the two of them a very malevolent smile, saying, see you around. Ooh, baby. With them gone, Amy gives Sonic a very worried look, questioning, you sure about this? And Sonic thinks for a bit and says, nah, but meeting Mecha Sonic and the others, Scrapnik Island, a great read, and also, again, yet another moment that wasn't even written by Ian in any way, shape, or form of Sonic coming around to someone who wanted to kill him previously, and even literally tried to kill him in that issue, those series of issues. Sonic saying, meeting Mecha, Sonic, and the others remind me that everyone deserves a second chance, third even. Starline stole their lives from them. They should have a chance to make better ones for themselves. He then asks, what brings you back to town anyway? Amy tells him, I wanted to hang out with Jewel, but she's been super busy. Apparently she's making a deal with something called Clean Sweep Inc. That might ease the burden though. Yep, and Amy being none the wiser about Clutch, who she has encountered before. Sonic says, cool, since you're free, wanna grab dinner? Amy saying, sure. Date. And as Duo closes the doors to Surge and Kit's new place, he tells them, here's your room. Surge looks at the curtain saying, it'll do. No leaks or drafts at least. Duo then gives them a wry smile saying, I took the liberty of getting you a shared room since you two are codependent. Surge smiles saying, whoa, Kitty's got claws after all. And as Duo shifts into Mimic, he says, I've got far more than claws. Mimic the octopus, infiltrator. Clutch told me to make contact with you once you were inside. Surge is overjoyed saying, haha, oh man, they have no idea, do they? Mimic smiles at her saying, none. Bravo on the bold play with Whisper earlier. He then points to Kit saying, you need to tone down the glare though, boy. You're happy here, remember? Kit simply looks away while Surge sits on the bed asking, so, what's the plan now? Mimic tells him, keep up the act for now. Play nice with the others, but not too nice. If they're keeping an eye on you, they aren't looking too hard at me. Just as I thought. It's a good plan. Ooh, it's a good plan. He continues on saying, once Clutch is ready, he'll send us the order. We'll hit our targets while their guard's down. He'll come in, take advantage of the chaos, and we're out. And Kit, in an interesting show of aggression that even takes Surge a bit off guard, says, what about Tails? Is he a target? Mimic tells him, priority target, along with anyone in your way. And for the first time, Kit smiles an evil grin, saying, I like it here now. Surge is overjoyed, saying, see? I knew this was a good idea. And they all put their hands in, as Surge says, looking forward to working with you, Duo. Next time, Sonic and Tails reunited. This is an absolutely amazing issue. I love stories that have a lot of characters in them because the interaction between the characters is always the best. It's probably one of Ian's strongest writing points in my opinion, and especially because these are usually the stories that I love the most. Characters you don't normally see interacting. Every once in a while, back in the Archie days, we'd have stories where multiple characters that had never really interacted before would encounter each other. Hedgehog Havoc, Treasure Team Tango, Babylon Rising, Champion, Pirate Plunder Panic. I love the alliteration one. But you get these stories where multiple characters throughout the Sonic-verse, sometimes without Sonic being involved in any way, shape, or form, would encounter each other, and it would be the most fascinating thing possible. Again, especially when you get more and more characters, it's the building of Sonic's world in a way that is always great to me. And while not too long ago we had the situation with the new Eggperial City and all that, which was good, but it was just kind of lacking. And I think this is what we were lacking. An antagonist who could banter. I'm loving that Clutch, much in the vein of the latter days of Mammoth Mogul or Breezy. Ian has a particular archetype, but it's one that works so well, and that's the crime boss that isn't out there to destroy the world. Shady business dealing, undercutting the main hero. They don't always come out on top, but they don't always end up on the bottom either, much like Xanatos from Gargoyle. Gambits that tend to work out in their favor one way or another. And I love the clever planning here. It's such a practical idea. They managed to get Duo in well enough. But with Surge and Kit here, and the immediate draw of Whisper's attention. But at the same time, because of this situation with Duo, Whisper's not sure of how she feels about things. There's the potential that she's wrong. And because of that, she'll second guess herself. Something she would never do under most circumstances, especially since she's right. She's right not to trust any of them. But these characters aren't that familiar with each other. Lanolin undermining Whisper makes sense. She doesn't know. Sonic and Amy's willingness to give the benefit of the doubt, but within reason, and the use of the fact that our heroes have a track record of making friends out of enemies. It's not an isolated incident. It has happened multiple times. Again, Knuckles, Blaze, Silver, General, Omega. They've even worked with Eggman from time to time. It's not isolated. Shadow, geez. That's why when people question him, I'm just like, why wouldn't he try to befriend his enemy? It's worked before. And especially here because he knows that Surge and Kit, they're not bad people under their own volition. They were taken, manipulated, used. He understands that Surge and Kit are victim, but them being victims can only go so far. You cross a line, you get punished. And I feel like a lot of naysayers would be like, oh, but why do we have to have all these OCs and yeah. These characters are all owned by Sega. Surge, Tangle, Whisper. It may have been mobile games, but they have now all appeared in games made by Sega, with Sega's name on it. So call them OCs as much as you want, but Lanolin, Mimic, Kit, Jewel, they can appear in a Sonic game at any point. Be mentioned in a Sonic game at any point, especially with Ian working with stories or doing treatments for stories in games now. But the line between what is canon and isn't canon when it comes to the Sonic games and the Sonic comic is getting blurrier all the time, and I'm all for it. And we are entering into a very interesting era of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm here for it. But let me know your thoughts on this issue in the comment section below. How do you feel about Clutch's operation? How do you feel about Surge and Kit being welcomed into the restoration? Do you feel like our heroes are being far too lax? Or do you find it understandable that they're at least giving an effort to trust these people, while at the same time not trusting these people? I want to hear from you. So like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks so much for watching and hope to see you later. Till then, bye bye.